I'd like to thank the Process Art Discovery audience for joining me today. I'm Lynda Norman, and I'm a watercolor artist in the beautiful province of British Columbia. Process Art Discovery has done a little bit of magic behind the scenes and put together a time-lapse of some of the fun things we've been doing over the last few months. Yeah, there's some really interesting little bits in there. Have a look. See if there's something there that maybe sparks your memory from a video that you've seen in the past, or head on over to the channel and look for the full version.
Today I'm going to be talking to Lynda Norman, a watercolorist in Kelowna, worth your time and attention. It's possible that a majority of people would not call themselves artists, and yet, you know, some of us have an understanding that we are all essentially creative. Mm-hmm. So what is it that helps draw somebody like that into being a creative person?
Oh gosh.
Or,
you know, give yourself permission for one thing, to play around. It doesn't have to be a perfection, you know, exercise. It can be throwing some color down, throwing some extra spices into your soup. It can be jotting down some notes, you know, keeping a morning journal to start with, and throw some rhyme in there.
So that's sort of like some of the fundamental advice you can give to anybody. And I like, again, with the idea that majority of people do not consider themselves artists. Forget that. You're creative. Creativity has to do with all sorts of things. I was saying, like therapeutic effect on our health, effect on our relationships.
Oh, for sure.
Effect on our parenting or grandparenting.
Yep.
So what is it that somebody can take from the idea of being creative without having to be pressured into being an artist, exhibiting and marketing? So it's different worlds, right?
Yeah, I mean,
but what is essential?
What is essential? It's finding a way to let go of those preconceived notions that are, you know, sort of right from an early age. Oh, you have to draw that circle, or that sun has to be yellow. You know, that tree has to be brown with green leaves. Or how are you
going to make a living? How are you going to feed your family?
How is that going to look? You know, you know, like I say, if you're putting thought and intention to anything, you're creating, you're creative. Call yourself an artist if you want.
Right.
You know, it's getting to a point where you want to be comfortable calling yourself an artist. Yeah. So start.
And again, I'm thinking it is kind of like the attitude, because we can be two sides of the coin, where we think I'm better to not do this. My life will be better if I don't do this, or I'm not allowed, or I'm not good enough. And you can pursue that as a positive. Don't do that because your life will be better if you don't. And the other side of it is do it because it will improve things. It's got benefits.
Right, and I mean, there's always a debate.
You just got to change your mindset about it.
Absolutely. There's always a debate on what's a professional artist and where that line is, and that's kind of a fluid line as well. My sister was here visiting. Crazy talented. I mean, oh my gosh, she can make anything out of a piece of fabric, and she knits like a fiend and does all these wonderful things, and I introduced her to somebody as a fabric artist.
Oh, right.
And that she took a step back, and afterwards said to me, "Why did you say that?" And I said, "Well, because it's true.
Yeah.
You know, you're creating with fabric and fiber, and get used to calling yourself an artist. You know,
good move.
It's if that's what you want to be. I mean, maybe you don't want to be called an artist. Yeah. You know, call yourself a creative or
a hobbyist or
an instigator or something.
Yeah, a craftsperson or a dabbler.
Yeah, I mean,
a putter like me.
Because somebody says that doesn't fall into the category of art, then talk to somebody else.
Well, I know that you have been deeply involved in grassroots music and art.
Yes.
Or art and music.
Yeah, they kind of go hand in hand. You know, I was thinking about that earlier today, about sound and color and all of the senses.
Yes.
You know, how they all play into what evolves as our creativity.
Yeah.
You know, taste. I mean, how you stir your soup.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
how you
ballet in there. I was doing it last
right.
night.
I think as long as you're putting intention into anything,
Yeah.
thought into anything, you're creating. And
Yeah.
that again is one of the reasons I named my studio Bandri, because it refers to the Druid tradition
Right.
that basically says we're all born creative and we should celebrate that every day.
That's
and I love
right.
that.
It's
I
a
love that.
natural aspect of being human.
Absolutely.
Too often it's rarefied and made inaccessible
Yeah.
to people for no good reason. So let's talk more about how everybody is an artist. It's about expressing emotion and thought
Absolutely.
in a unique way. That's what we all do.
Yeah. Yeah. Without judgment, without preconceived notion. I think allowing, and that's a hard thing for most people, is just to allow that creativity to just evolve and come out, for fear that someone is going to say, well, that's not quite right, or one of my pet peeves is when my husband says to me, your perspective is off. and I always remind him that that's not
inner perspective.
That's not my goal. I'm just making color and pigment and water do some magic, and they do it basically themselves.
Yeah.
I'm just there to witness most of the time.
That's a good attitude. That's a good thing to remember as creative people, that we are certainly the vehicle or the instrument that manifests something, but the manifestation is a mystery. It's part of the again, essential to humanity, but it's a spiritual quality. It's where we can engage and open up our hearts and minds and our hands and our tools, but something else is going to emerge. That
Absolutely.
is a fifth dimension, the fifth element.
When, as an artist, that happens, when I can allow that to happen, I take all the other pieces out, all the expectations, all of the, predetermined ideas of what that needs to look like. It becomes such a I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost like you're removed from the process, and when it's all said and done, and you look at it, it's like, wow, that basically created itself in some aspects, and that for me is most satisfying. It may not be what art purchasers or aficionados are looking for, but personally it's the most satisfying for me.
Yeah.
And those are some of my favorite pieces that will never leave my studio or my home.
Exactly, right.
Because
we do
they
it
have
for
that.
its own sake.
That's right.
And if it's attractive to others, bonus.
Yeah, absolutely.
And most likely it will be, because it's true. The truer it is, the more compelling it can be, I think.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, as much as we're all different, we all have common threads that weave through, and
cultural threads.
And whatever it is, it's going to appeal to somebody. Yeah. They will get it at another level almost, and appreciate something about it that speaks to them. So.
And that's a nice aspect of YouTube and technology nowadays.
Absolutely.
Is that your little voice can suddenly be heard by somebody in the middle of somewhere so far away, but unimaginable. But again, the simpatico can occur.
And I love that,
And it's extraordinary. We may never know who it touches and how, but nonetheless, it's being it's emanating through the world. That's really remarkable.
Yeah, it would be wonderful if all people could understand and appreciate that somewhere in the world, you are making a difference.
Yeah.
Whether it's outside your doorstep, inside your home, in your community, across the world, places, as you say, that you would never know. And just feel that.
Yeah.
And know that, and feel good about that.
Yeah. Micro occasions of inspiration.
I'd like to thank the Process Art Discovery audience for joining us today. we had some fun looking back over some of the fun things that we've done. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you like what you've seen, I invite you to subscribe to the channel or head on over to the members area.